Marty, how does a basketball player become a filmmaker?
Very slowly. I actually didn't get into filmmaking until I finished my undergrad. My last semester of college, when I went to UConn, I had taken a creative writing class, and the professor had been a screenwriter. And I had thought about doing it. I always thought it might be fun. I worked at Blockbuster Video when I was in college, and had a good time there, and never really thought of it as a possibility to make a living, but thought it might be fun to take, to kind of dip a toe into. So I wrote a screenplay my last semester of undergrad at UConn, and it was a basketball story, actually. It was a story about a college athlete who tries to throw the NCAA tournament. I can't forget the name. What was the name of it? I can't even think of the name of it, but it was really bad. But I wrote it, and I really enjoyed the process of it, even though I knew, there was a lot more to learn. So once I got out of undergrad, I kind of didn't play basketball quite as much. Started volunteering on indie film sets just to kind of learn the business a little bit. And then I got into film school at Florida State after about 3 years of that. And then got there and then sort of learned the ropes, and the whole story kind of started from there.
Was it inevitable that you would move to Los Angeles? Was this sort of something that you knew you were going to be doing?
I don't think it was. I got to the point where I knew that I wanted to make movies, but I wasn't sure if Los Angeles was going to be where I ended up. And it may still not be. My first time in LA was before I finished up film school at Florida State. This was in the summer of 2004. I came out here and I interned for a summer, and I worked for the producers of the American Pie movies and had a great time there. At the time, it was a combination production company, management company. And so I got to learn both the production side and the rep side, which was really great. But when I graduated, I really was kind of iffy on it, because at that time, I think I was 27, and I was really still kind of a Northeastern kid, having grown up in Connecticut. The city was a lot for me. So at the same time, there was talk of a movie studio being built in Connecticut, where there was a film tax credit that had just been started like the year prior. And these guys were interested in building a movie studio, and they wanted to hire local people to work there. So I took a chance when I graduated, and I actually moved back home. And then I stayed there for about 10 years. So that was sort of the first detour out of LA that I had. But fast forward, after those 10 years, the film business had left Connecticut because the film tax credit disappeared, as happened in many states. So at that point, I started thinking, okay, do I want to come back? Do I want to go to LA? Do I want to try to work with the grown-ups, after working in independent film for a long time? So I started looking for work, and after about a year of it, I actually got an offer to work in the film school at Chapman University.
Oh, nice.
I had taught previously, but this was not a teaching position. This was a staff position in their film school as a production manager. So I thought of that as sort of the catalyst to get me out there, and then I'd kind of see where things went. So in 2015, that was when I moved out to LA, and that was when I really, decided to make a go of it and try it here.
What would your advice be for someone that wants to, dip their toe in the water here, or just come out here? Because I know it's hectic. It's hard to find an apartment. It's hard to find a parking space.
Yeah.
And so, what are some tips you can kind of give people to arm themselves when they come out here?
Well, I think information is power. The more you can set yourself up before you get here, I think the better off you are. When I came out here in 2015, I already had a job. That's a rare thing, I know, but even if you're in a situation where, if you work at Starbucks, you can transfer to any Starbucks in the United States after you're there for a certain amount of time. So if you can find a place, if you come out here on vacation for a week and you look at local places that you think might be interesting to live in, you can set yourself up to get a job, in that area. Obviously, not everyone works at Starbucks, but the more you can sort of prepare your life so that when you get here, you're not completely floating in the wind, I think the more effective things can be. If you're looking on Craigslist, if you can find a room before you get out here, that saves you a lot of stress, obviously. Any friends that you have, any family that you have, really anywhere in Southern California, that's a benefit, because any network that you have here, is better than sort of free floating, when you're here. When I came here in 2004, I didn't know anyone. I literally just kind of landed in town, and I was bouncing from couch to couch of film students that I had known when I was living in Florida. So that was not the best way to do it in retrospect. But, it took a little time to kind of create that base. So the more that you can do to sort of set that up before you get here, I think the better off you are.